Hello and welcome to No Win, No Fee, the show where all 12 of these contestants are hoping to go home with £4,000 and I'm hoping they don't. And that's because I do not get paid for hosting this show. If one of the people here takes that money, then I go home with absolutely nothing. Zero. No win, no fee for me. And if you don't believe me, take a look at my contract. There it is in black and white. Remuneration. The presenter agrees that he shall receive no fee for providing the services. In fact, the only way I make anything is if they fail to get the money, then I go home with £4,000. Let's meet the people who stand between me and my fee today. Peter, Annalise, Steve, Larif, Patricia, Sophia, Lisa, Irene, Paul, Claire, Mike and Saul. Now at the moment you're all complete strangers to each other. You may have met briefly before the show, but all you know about each other are your names. And this is a game of assumption and presumption. I'm going to ask you to choose players you think are going to get a question wrong. So it's sudden death and it's all about first impressions. There are 12 of you now, and I'm happy to say in a few minutes there are only going to be 6 of you. We start by randomly choosing one of you. So we're going to find somebody to choose a question and then pick an opponent who's going to get that question wrong. Who's up first? And it's going to be Lisa. I wonder how good she is at reading people from first impressions. Let's find out. Lisa, join me and choose your question. So Lisa, you happy to be up first?
I am, yes.
At least we get it out of the way, don't
Yep.
we? You've got a choice of 2 questions. Which one do you think somebody here is going to get wrong? Top or bottom? Would you know the answer to either of those?
Possibly.
Of course, it's not so much about what you know.
No.
It's about what you think other people know. You've got to pick somebody to get a question wrong. If they get it right, you go out. Which one do you want, top or bottom?
Top.
The top question, okay. Study the reactions of the people in front of you as I read it. You've then got to select somebody who you think is going to get it wrong. Here's the question Lisa's chosen for you. In which city is the University of Surrey located? Doris not meeting your gaze. Steve, I think, is looking confident, but he could be bluffing. Who do you think, Lisa, is going to get the question you've chosen wrong?
Irene.
Irene, Lisa thinks you're going to get the answer to this question wrong. Join us and face your question. So what made you go for Irene?
She wasn't really looking anywhere or anything.
Could be so relaxed and certain of the answer that she's
Possibly.
just chilled out. Let's find out. Okay, Irene, you have to get this answer right to stay in the game. If you do get it right, Lisa goes home early. Here we go. Take your time. In which city is the University of Surrey located?
I think it's Guildford.
Didn't hesitate, did she? Still happy you chose her?
Possibly.
Okay. So, Irene, in which city is the University of Surrey located?
I still think it's Guildford.
Guildford. If Guildford's right, Irene goes through to the next round. If she's wrong, we say goodbye to her. The answer is Guildford. Irene, you're right. Which means, Irene, you've got a place in the next round. And Lisa, we've only just met, but I'm happy to say you're out.
Thank you.
So we need another contestant to choose an opponent to try and get a question wrong. Who's going to be up next? And it's going to be Sophia. A bit of a flinch there and now she's smiling. How good is she at judging people from first impressions? Let's find out. Sophia, join me and choose your question. Oh, Lisa got it wrong.
Yeah.
She was, I think, bluffed a bit by Irene there. You've got a choice of 2 questions. Which one is somebody going to get wrong, Sophia? Top or bottom? Very different subject areas. A lot of money at stake there, £4,000.
Top one, please.
The top question. Here we go. Here's the question that Sophia's chosen. What is the world's northernmost capital city? Is it my imagination or is Mike breathing slightly heavier? Is he nervous or is he bluffing? Paul's looking down at the floor, not meeting your gaze. Who's going to get that question wrong, Sophia?
It's going to be Steve.
Steve, she thinks you're going to get this question wrong. Join us and prove her wrong. What made you single Steve out?
Well, he looked very calm and confident, but I think that's just probably a bluff.
You think he's bluffing you?
Yeah.
Well, I hope for your sake he is, because if he gets the answer right, you're out. Here we go. What is the world's northernmost capital city? Still happy with your choice?
I think so.
I think he's going to get this right, you know.
You reckon?
I think you may have chosen wrong. Got that little smile around the corner of his lips there. A lot of money at stake, Steve. You get this right, you're through to the next round.
I think it's Reykjavik.
He's saying Reykjavik. If Reykjavik is right, Sophia, you're out. If he's wrong, you stay in the game. The answer is Reykjavik in Iceland. Steve, you're right. Which means you take a place in the next round. And Sophia, I'm happy to say you're out. Only 8 contestants left standing. Only 4 of them can go through to the next round. Who's up to choose a question next? And it's the cool, calm and collected-looking Patricia. Patricia, join me and choose your question. So how are you feeling? Would you rather be answering a question or choosing one of these two?
Choosing, I think, Paul, at the moment.
Good for you. Which one are you going to go for, top or bottom? Take your time, and remember, it's not so much what you know as what you think other people know.
I'll go for the bottom question.
Patricia's chosen the bottom question. Take a look at their faces as they hear it for the first time. Who wrote the music for the musicals West Side Story and Wonderful Town? The reef is very pointedly looking at your shoes, not your face. Does that mean anything? Annalise is smiling. Who's going to get this wrong for you, Patricia? Who's going to keep you in the game? So far, the first 2 people who've chosen an opponent have gone out.
I think I'll go for Paul, Paul.
So, Paul, she thinks she's got the measure of you. You're going to get this one wrong. Join us now and face your question. What was it about Paul that made you choose him, Patricia?
Don't think he knows.
You mean you hope he doesn't know? Because if he does, you're out.
Right.
Here we go, Paul. You have to get this right to stay in the game. Here's your question. Who wrote the music for the musicals West Side Story and Wonderful Town? Take as long as you like. Now, I think this might be a guess. The trouble is, Patricia, he could guess right, couldn't he?
He could.
And he could still be bluffing.
He could.
I think he's a good actor if he's not bluffing. Have you narrowed it down at all, Paul?
I think it's Bernstein.
Now, if Bernstein is the right answer, you're through to the next round. If you're wrong, Patricia gets that place. £4,000 could be at stake. The answer is Leonard Bernstein. Paul, you are right. Which means you take a place in the next round. And Patricia, I'm happy to say it's been nice meeting you, but you're out.
Thank you, Paul.
So, only 3 places left. 6 people competing for those places. Who's going to be up to choose a question next? Chosen at random for the 4th time in a row, a woman is going to be selecting an opponent. Annalise, join us and choose your question. Getting the hang of this now, then?
I think so.
Would you rather be choosing or answering?
Choosing, I think.
OK, top or bottom? Although everybody who's answered so far has gone through, everyone who's chosen has gone out.
Top one, please.
Do you know the answer to that one?
I think so.
Take a look at their reactions. What is the lightest of all the elements and has the atomic number 1? Mike's looking very solemn all of a sudden. Look at Saul. He'll be carved out of rock. Who's it going to be, Annalise?
Claire.
Claire, she thinks you're going to fail. You're going to get this wrong. Come up and prove her wrong. Face your question. Now, you had men to choose from, but you went for Claire. Why was that?
I thought men were more likely to be into the sciencey kind of things.
Let's find out. Claire, you must get this right to stay in the game. If you're wrong, you're out. What is the lightest of all the elements and has the atomic number 1? Take your time. I think she knows this. What do you think?
She looks a bit worried.
Nerve-wracking under the lights, though. This could be one big bluff. A lot of money at stake. If she gets it right, you're out. I'll read you the question again, Claire. What is the lightest of all the elements and has the atomic number 1?
I have to be a complete guess. I'm not even sure it's an element. Aeon?
If Aeon is right, you're through to the next round. If it's wrong, you're going home and Annalise is through to the final round. The answer is hydrogen. Claire, you're wrong. And that means, Annalise, you're through to the next round, and Claire, I'm happy to say, you're out. Just 2 places left. Who's up next to choose a question? And it's going to be Mike to pick a question he hopes somebody's going to get wrong. Mike, join us and choose your question. So, would you rather be answering, do you reckon?
I think I'd rather be asking the questions.
OK, we're going to choose one first. Which one do you think is most difficult for the people left, top or bottom? Only 2 places in the next round, £4,000 at stake.
I'll take the bottom.
The bottom question. Do you know the answer to that one?
I could do.
OK, here's the question he's chosen. Study their reactions. Here's the question. In which year did Elvis Presley die? What are those faces saying to you, Mike?
I think they're all playing the bluff at the moment. I'm going to go for Darif.
So, Darif, he thinks you're going to fail on this one. Join us and face your question. Now, I'd be worried if I were you, Mike, because he was looking down and looking solemn, and as soon as he said his name, he gave us a cheeky, perky grin. Are you still happy with that choice?
I'm still happy.
Darif, you have to get this answer right to stay in the game. If you do get it right, Mike goes home. Here's your question. In which year did Elvis Presley die? Do you think he knows the answer? He's smiling again now. Are you feeling nervous, Mike?
Oh, I'm always nervous.
A lot of money, Darif. I don't know if this is going to be a guess or if you've narrowed it down to a couple of different years.
I'll go for 1979.
1979. If that's the right answer, you're through to the next round, and Mike loses any chance of getting my £4,000. Elvis Aaron Presley, king of rock and roll, of course, died in 1977. Darif, you're wrong. Which means Mike is through to the next round, and Darif, I'm happy to say, I know you're all shook up, you're out. 1 place left. Somebody's going to choose a question. Somebody's got to answer that question. Only 1 person is going through to fight for my £4,000. Who's it going to be, Peter or Saul? And it's going to be Saul. He has no choice of opponent, but he does have a choice of questions. Join me, Saul, and make that choice. Now, you were directly opposite Peter for the whole of part 1 there. Did you read his face at all? Did you learn anything about him, do you think? Can you judge him?
I hope so.
OK. You've got a choice of questions to put to him. Which one is he most likely to get wrong, top or bottom?
Oh, I'll go for the top one, thank you very much.
No hesitation at all, thank you very much. Peter's looking slightly nervous. Is he right to be nervous? He's going to find out now. No, in interest of fairness, Peter, we're going to leave you there for a few seconds after I've read the question so you get the same thinking time that the other contestants had. Here we go. Who was voted European Footballer of the Year for 2000? He's thinking, are you still happy you chose the right question, the one he's going to get wrong?
I think so.
Peter, will you join us, please, and face your question? Now, do you think maybe he's not a sporty type of person? Is that why you went for that one?
No, I think he is a sporty type, but I think he will possibly get it wrong.
You mean you hope he's going to get it wrong?
Mm-hmm.
He looks confident to me. Peter, take as long as you like. Who was voted European Footballer of the Year for the year 2000?
Well, it's a very strange thing, but all the 5 previously I've known instantly, and this one I've had to think about.
Now, does that mean you're covering a lot of footballing names, or have you narrowed it down to just a few?
I've narrowed it down to 2.
Just to 2? Which two are you thinking of, Peter, for the last place in the final round?
The two I'm thinking of are Louis Figo and Zidane. So I think it's one of those two.
I think they're trying to psych each other out. Peter, who was voted European Footballer of the Year for 2000? He's still thinking, that's fine.
Okay, I'll go for it. I think it was Zinedine Zidane.
For the chance of £4,000, the answer is Luis Figo. Peter, you're wrong.
The wrong one.
You got so close, Peter. But Saul, you've won that place in the final round. And Peter, I'm happy to say the full-time whistle has blown. You're out. And well done to all 6 of you for getting this far. You've managed to eliminate your opponents, either because you're a good judge of character, you're clever, or maybe you've just been lucky. But let's hope you've also been paying attention to other people's strengths and weaknesses, because now it's time for you to go head to head with each other, and of course with me. Because if none of you win, then I put £4,000 in my pocket. Otherwise, I get nothing from this show. So, I hope it's no win, no fee for you, as we all take one step closer to that money. And in round 2, things are decidedly trickier. Judgment of character is now crucial because you've got to choose your opponent before hearing the question. I then read that question, and to stay in the game, you tell me if you think your opponent is going to get it right or wrong. As always, we start by randomly choosing one of you. We need somebody to pick an opponent and then read that opponent's reaction. Who's a good judge of character? And it's going to be Steve up first to pick an opponent he thinks he's got the measure of. Steve, join me now and choose your opponent. Steve, got to pick somebody you've got the measure of, or maybe somebody whose intelligence you respect. Somebody you think, oh, they've got good general knowledge, I can put my faith in them.
I think Annalise.
Annalise, he thinks he can read you like a book. Come and join us and face your question. Five people you could have gone for. Why Annalise?
I think she got through on the first round by default.
So you think she's an easy victim?
I think so.
Now, Annalise, as ever, you have to get the answer to this question right to stay in the game. But before you answer, Steve has got to tell us whether you're going to get it right or wrong. Take a look at her. Here's the question. El Al is the national airline of which country? Going to get this one right, I reckon, Steve. But, you see, if you say she's going to get it right and then she gets it wrong, you're both out and I'm near £4,000, so don't let me influence you. Right or wrong, would you say? What are you thinking?
I think she's going to get it right.
You think she knows this? Here we go. £4,000 at stake. El Al is the national airline of which country?
Saudi Arabia.
Now, if Saudi Arabia's right, you're both still in the game. If it's not right, you're both out. The answer is Israel. Annalise, you're wrong. Which means, Annalise, Steve is wrong as well for putting his faith in you. So I'm happy to say, sit down, Annalise, you're out. And the same to you, Steve. Sit down, you're out. Sudden death, very quick. Who do you trust? Who can you read? Let's find out who's going to pick an opponent next. It's going to be Mike. He was a good judge of character in the first round. I wonder if that luck will stay with him. Mike, join us and choose your opponent. And it's very simple, Mike. You choose an opponent, I read that person a question, and you tell me whether they're going to get the answer right or wrong. Who do you want to go head-to-head with? Who can you read?
I'm going to choose Irene.
So, Irene, he thinks he's got the measure of you. Join us and face your question. Now, we know judgment is crucial at this point. Mike, why did you pick Irene?
I think that there was a little apprehension there.
She looked nervous the first round and she did well. Double bluff the person who chose her.
This is true.
Of course, you could both be out as well. Irene, you have to get the answer to this question right to stay in the game. But before you answer, Mike's got to tell us whether you're going to get it right or wrong. Here we go. Courier, Ariel and Helvetica are all common types of what? Is she going to get it right or wrong? What are you thinking? Are you veering one way or another yet?
It's quite a strong question. I think she'll get it wrong.
You think she'll get it wrong? She's going to fail?
Yes.
If she's right, you're out.
I know.
He's banking on you not knowing this, and suddenly Irene's smiling a bit, Mike. Here's your question. Courier, Ariel and Helvetica are all common types of what?
They're typefaces on a computer.
Now, if that's the right answer, you stay in the game. If it's the wrong answer, Mike sticks around to fight for my £4,000. The answer is typefaces or fonts. Irene, you are right. So, Irene, take your place. You're still in the game. And Mike, I'm happy to say your judgment of character let you down. Sit down, you're out. 3 people left, 4 if you include me, because we all want that £4,000. Who's going to choose an opponent next? And it's going to be Paul, who answered his question in the first round. How good a judge of character is he? Paul, join me and choose your opponent. Now, you've seen how tough it is, Paul. Saul and Irene. Who have you got the measure of?
I'm going to go with Saul.
Saul, he's hoping you're going to keep him in the game, maybe win him £4,000. Join us and face your question. Could have been Irene. Why did you go for Saul?
I think I can read Saul a little bit better.
You hope you can.
I hope I can.
Here we go, Saul. In which US state would you find London Bridge? Now, Saul, as ever, you have to get the answer right to stay in the game. Paul has to tell me whether you're going to get it right or wrong. £4,000 up for grabs, a lot of money. Is he going to get this right or wrong? What's going through your mind right now, Paul? You wish you picked Irene, don't you?
I wish I picked someone else. I think he's going to get it wrong.
OK. Well, I'm definitely saying goodbye to one of you after this. Only one of you is going to go up against Irene for my £4,000. Saul, you need to get this right to stay in the running for that dough. Paul is saying you're going to get it wrong. Take your time.
I hope it's in Texas, Paul.
In which US state would you find London Bridge? And you're saying?
Texas, Paul.
If Texas is the right answer, then Paul goes out. If it's not Texas, we lose you. The answer is Arizona. Saul, you're wrong. Which means, Paul, you are still in the game. Saul, I'm happy to say, commiserations, sit down, you're out. Irene and Paul, Paul and Irene and me in the running for £4,000. Somebody's going to get that money very soon, but who's going to answer the question and who's going to predict whether their opponent is going to get the answer right or wrong? So Paul is going to be up first, judging Irene's reactions. Irene's the only opponent left. So please, for £4,000, both join me now. Getting very tense. We know what's going to happen now. I'm going to ask Irene a question. She has to get the answer right to stay in the game, maybe to win £4,000. Paul, before she answers, you've got to tell me whether she's going to get the answer right or wrong. Got a question right in the first round. Has done well to stay right through to the death in this one. As have you. Here's your question, Irene. In what century was Galileo born? Wasn't giving too much away at first, but then a bit of a smile and a sway. What's going through your mind, Paul?
I'm gonna guess on this. Gonna go out on a limb. Say I think she's gonna get it wrong.
See, I think she's going to get it right.
I know you're gonna tell me that.
Because she looks confident. I think she's double bluffing you. I think she's going to get it right.
You think so?
Thing is, though, you see, if you say she's going to get it right and she gets it wrong, she's wrong, you're wrong, 2 wrongs make it right for me. I get £4,000, so don't let me influence you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with my first impression.
You sure now?
Yeah.
You think she's going to get it wrong?
Yeah.
Well, 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 Irene. He's got no faith in you. He said it was a guess. He thinks you're going to get it wrong. So if you get it right, you get £4,000. Paul gets nothing. If you are wrong, though, Paul gets £4,000, you get nothing. Either way, I'm not going to be paid for presenting the show today. No win, no fee from me. Irene, in what century was Galileo born? Take as long as you like.
It's really difficult. I'm going to really be taking a bit of a calculated guess and say 13th century.
Now, if Galileo was born in the 13th century, Irene, you'll have won £4,000. If you're wrong, Paul goes home with that money. The answer is the 16th century. Irene, you're wrong. Oh dear, Irene, commiserations. Sit down, you're out. Because Paul has just won £4,000. Congratulations, Paul. Where's that money going?
Thanks, mate. Might have to take a holiday.
Holiday?
Yeah.
OK, that's what it's about. He earned that money through judgment of character, general knowledge and a bit of luck. He's won, but it's been no win, no fee for me. I'm going home with absolutely nothing. Join us the next time to see who gets the money. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.